Hey everybody, it's Brian, and I'm feeling pretty fired up this morning, so this episode is going to be jam-packed. I'm ready to dive in. But before we do, if you've ever thought about a career in sports, you have to check out the Masters in Sports Administration program at Northwestern University. I always had this dream of going to Northwestern's journalism school, which is one of the top in the nation, and Northwestern, I'm telling you, is just an incredible school. But the reason I didn't go there is because I remembered partway through my college career that I'm not that great of a writer. Anyway, Northwestern is an incredible school, and the fact you can get your master's there is something you should all consider. That is super powerful on your resume. You'll learn essential skills from experienced faculty with connections to college, professional, and amateur athletics. You can choose a specialization in sports analytics and get in on a growing field. Earn your Northwestern's master's degree online or in convenient evening classes. To find out more, go to sps.northwestern.edu/sports. One more time, sps.northwestern.edu/sports. All right, let's start the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian Clapp, VP of Content and Engaged Learning for workinsports.com, and this is the Work in Sports Podcast. We're going to veer off course a bit today, but I think you'll like it. No fan question. Rather, I'm going to share some recent data and give you a bit of analysis on it from my own perspective. This is really interesting data, or at least I think so. It applies to all of you. Now, a major part of this discussion is to validate your moves. Like, you're going to hear this data and it's either going to tell you, hey, I'm doing some things right, or it's going to tell you, oh gosh, I have to make some changes. Those of you listening to this podcast regularly know my theories on employment. That's the data we're going to talk about. Job seeking, employment, all that kind of stuff. Education as it relates to all of that. Okay. You guys know my theories on employment. Standing out from the crowd and getting yourself in the consideration set for jobs is our goal. Now, what does that mean to say in the consideration set? That means that you are in the top 5 to 10% of applicants for any job. Okay. Why is this number important? For any job you're applying to, not just any job. Like, you might not be qualified for lots of jobs, but if the jobs you're interested in, that you will be in the top 5 to 10%, right? So why that number? Why 5 to 10%? Well, this is rough data, of course, because it all changes from job to job, but the top 10%-ish of all applicants are the ones who get the initial phone screening. Okay, so let's break this down a little further. If I post a job for a marketing coordinator and we get 200 applicants, which is totally realistic, my first step as a hiring manager is to whittle that list down to all those worthy of a phone call. So in this instance, I would be looking to talk to 20 to 30 of my top people from that list and giving them a phone interview to then whittle that list down even further to those that are worth bringing in for a face-to-face interview or having a video interview or whatever our next step is in our process. So to me and to everybody out there in the hiring world, that first consideration set, that first 5 to 10% of applicants, or maybe 10 to 15%, but in that range, in the top percentages, is the most important step. How do you get yourself in that position? Because that's how you'll get considered for the role and at least have an opportunity to talk to somebody and impress them with everything else about you. I know for a fact that when I applied to work at CNN Sports Illustrated right out of college, I might have been one of the last in their consideration set, right? I'm being completely serious. This is me being completely transparent. I am not trying to be self-deprecating or anything like that. I'm just saying, if they had 500 applicants, I might have, or 200, let's use an easy number, 200 applicants, and they decided to give the top 30 callbacks and just have a conversation with them, I'm guaranteeing you that I was probably number 28, 29, or 30. Like, I was near the end of the consideration set. But as long as you get in, that's all that matters, because I was able to prove myself in the phone interview. I was able to handle myself the right way. I was able to get that face-to-face interview and nail it and get the job. So if you're in that consideration set, everything opens up to you. So how do you get in this set? Well, I mean, honestly, you'll have to listen to every single podcast I've ever done and take our online courses in the Work in Sports Academy. just $39 each, and available 24/7, 365 at workinsports.com/academy. Of course, quick little sales pitch there, but I'm being serious too. Like, I can't boil down how you get into the consideration set in one 10-minute podcast episode. That's why we do all of our podcasts. That's why we offer up the Academy, to get deeper into the specifics of how you get there. But if I was going to do a quick, extremely superficial summary, it would go something like this. Number one, you have to gain the experience that the marketplace needs. Okay, you have to understand what the marketplace needs for the jobs you want and gain that experience. Number two, intern, and then intern some more. Number three, you need to build industry relevant relationships. Notice I don't use the word networking, although that is, I use it. It's common knowledge as networking, but you're building industry relevant relationships. Okay. Number four, customize your materials, resume, cover letter, et al. To each job application. And finally, number five, master the art of selling yourself during the interview process. So that is a super way rough and superficial conversation about how to get yourself in the consideration set. But that is the start of it. That is kind of the basic foundation, and we can grow from there. Now, notice what isn't in there. High GPA. Now, that is not an argument against taking your college courses seriously. I mean, of course, you have to and need to. But that is so, your courses are so you have the brain power to do the job. It is not what gets you hired. So just to spell this out again, taking macroeconomics is great. You will learn concepts and skills that will apply to your sports business life. So take it seriously. That will help you be good at your job, but it isn't the thing that will get you noticed and hired. Do you understand that difference? So let's get into the data a bit. I was doing a ton of research for my upcoming interview with Joan Lynch, who's the Chief Content Officer for Working Nation. Now, that's a really cool organization who's publishing data and information and stories about the future of employment. And so we had this great interview last week, which I'm going to publish on Wednesday. But before every interview, I start doing tons of research because I want to ask really good questions and I want to dig deep. I don't want to do superficial stuff. So, quick aside, prior to becoming the big cheese over at Working Nation and covering the future of employment in America, which is a pretty big job, she was a big time executive at ESPN and one of the main creative minds behind 30 for 30, amongst other projects. And we get into that a lot. And there's some cool little behind the scenes stories she tells. So not only are we talking about the future of sports employment in this interview, we are also digging into her ESPN background, which is super cool. Anyway, that's Wednesday. So tune in for that then. But in researching for that interview, I came across some data released late last year from McGraw-Hill's Education's Future Workforce Survey. That's a mouthful. McGraw-Hill's Education's Future Workforce Survey. Man, I still had trouble saying that. Whatever. It details statistics about recent college graduates. So they interviewed 1,000 recent college graduates and broke down all this really cool data. I'm going to hit a couple highlights that stood out to me because it's a really big survey, and I'm just going to distill it down to a few major points. So number one, get this. College graduates don't feel well equipped to face the real world. Only 4 in 10 U.S. college students feel well prepared. That is crazy. Only 4 in 10 college students feel very or extremely prepared for their future careers. And that's actually an increase from 2017 when only 29% of students reported feeling prepared. Many reported, going into the data a little bit here, and then I'll get into the interpretation and analysis, which is a lot more fun. But this is important too because you need to have context. Many of these people, these recent college graduates, reported feeling like their college experience did not provide the critical skills they needed to transition to the workforce. What is with my enunciation today? Anyway, that the skills they needed to transition into the workforce, such as solving complex problems, 43% said they did not have those skills. Resume writing, 37% said they didn't have those skills. Interviewing, 34% said they didn't have those skills. And job searching, 31%. Okay, so let's talk about this first. For one, and this is a very superficial gut reaction when I read this, holy crap. Could you imagine paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for something and getting a 40% satisfaction rate out of it? Like if you saw something on Amazon that had 1,000 reviews and it got 2 stars. Would you buy it? I mean, oh my goodness, that is crazy. As a parent of 3 young children, this scares the crap out of me for the future of my bank account. And that's not good. Anyway, enough about me. Well, it's easy to look at the scary number that only 40% felt prepared for their future career. Let's look a little deeper into that 40. Let's make some hypotheses about this and analyze that. Like, why were those people? Why were those 40%? There were 60% that weren't feeling prepared. Well, what about the 40? Why were they? In my seasoned hypothesis or seasoned opinion, the 40% who feel really prepared, they got off campus. They broke away from the party scene and gained experience. Lots and lots of experience. Now, again, don't get me as a stick in the mud. Don't always break away from the party scene. I sure as heck didn't. But you need to balance that with gaining experience while in college. You need to get out. You need to learn outside of your classes. You need to see how the world operates. I have known students firsthand who came to me to discuss their future prospects, and they sent me their resume to review, and I looked through and saw little to no experience. And I'm thinking, as an employer, I would not hire this person. Sure, they got good grades, they did work study at the fitness center, they were in some clubs, but they did not get any experience. I don't see anything on their resume that says to me they can walk in at my organization and make a difference. That's not good enough. Trust me, when you get out in the real world often, and conduct internships, volunteer for road races or bike races or golf events, do informational interviews with industry-connected people. When you do any of those things, 4 major things will happen to you. Number 1, you will gain confidence. Number 2, you will gain knowledge. Number 3, you will gain contacts. And number 4, you will gain clarity and perspective. Let's hammer that final one a little bit there. Clarity and perspective, because that sounds vague, but it's really not. When you do an internship, sometimes you're going to find out what you don't like, or you're going to find out that you really do like something because you're going to actually experience it. Or you might be on an internship doing for media relations and say, you know what? I really like those people that are working on the broadcast side. Or you might be doing broadcast and say, oh, wow, look at that marketing stuff they're doing. That looks really cool. You're going to see it in action. You're going to be able to get perspective on your career and what you want. If you're always in the classroom, you're not getting those things. You know what this all adds up to? When you do these things, you feel prepared to enter the real world post-graduation. And that's what we're talking about. 60% of people do not feel prepared after college. And I'm guaranteeing you, if we dig into that data, I guarantee you they have not done enough internships. They have not done volunteer work. They have not done informational interviews. Okay? Again, the classes are important, but they're just part of the equation. They give you brain power, teach you concepts, present ideas, challenge your thinking, all great stuff. But the outward experiences are what put it all into action, allow you to build relationships in the industry and all those important things. You know what I'd love to see? Seriously, I would love to see this because I am a dork. I'd love to see this survey go deeper into those 2 groups. Like, who are the 40% that feel prepared? What did they do? What was their experience? And what are the 60% that feel unprepared? I would love to cross-reference that against their internship and immersive opportunities while they were in school. Because I guarantee you, there's nothing I feel more secure about. Those 40% that feel prepared did a lot more internships. And remember this, internships and other methods of gaining experience are not check the box activities. You don't see it as a requirement of your degree and just go through the motions, picking the easiest, most convenient internship just to get it done. That will not get you there. Okay. I'm being so serious now. I remember when I was on campus, University of Delaware, go Blue Hens. I remember seeing a sign around campus that said, if you want to work in broadcast journalism, we have this great internship. And I was like, great, I want to work in broadcast journalism. Great internship. And I went and it was with this is no offense to this group, but it was with the, media relations department on campus. And they basically wanted you to go around and cover little events, for like we're like speakers on campus. You'd kind of cover them and come back and cut up little clips and have it as part of their newsletters and promotional activities, kind of to show the community what kind of things were going on at large on campus. And it wasn't bad, but I didn't get out. I was still sheltered and I was on campus and I was living the same life. I needed to get out and do more and reach to outside businesses, small businesses, large businesses, do more than just what was required. I did that internship and it checked the box for my internship requirement. Thankfully, I did a lot more, but if I didn't, I wouldn't have gotten where I am. Okay. Okay. Let's go one step deeper too. And then we're going to get into another data point, but let's go one step deeper. They also talked about feeling like their college experience did not provide the critical skills necessary to transition into the workforce. And they mentioned resume writing, interviewing, and job searching. And I'm telling you, this is very, very true. I see this all across the country in every college experience. Colleges don't do enough on those skills: resume writing, interviewing, job searching, all those sort of things, which is exactly why we started to implement our Work and Sports Academy courses into college curriculums. We've signed on with dozens of college programs who are utilizing our training in their sports management courses, so that students can learn the strategies and tactics of gaining experience, resume writing, cover letters, personal branding, interviewing, networking, all these skills that make a difference in your career that aren't being taught on campus. And if you are a professor listening or a student who wants to take wants your school to implement our training, call me, DM me, email me. I kind of mushed that all up, but nonetheless, get in touch. We can make it happen. We're doing great deals for schools. But the bigger point is that that's exactly why we're trying to do that training, is because we've also identified not just the data, but just like in our own anecdotal research and being out there and talking to schools and talking to students, like it's very obvious these are skills that are not being trained and taught as well. And we want to help with that for sure. Okay, next stat. Get her ready for this. I have to sound professional. There is a gap between student and employer perceptions. 77% of students reported feeling confident in their professionalism, work ethic, teamwork, and collaboration skills. But employers felt a little less enthusiastic. They said only 43% of employers feel that recent grads are proficient in these areas. Okay, so we talk about this a lot, the importance of soft skills, right? What this data tells us, and for those of you that don't listen a lot, soft skills are all those things that are not like hard, tangible things you can do. Like I can video edit, or I can do Photoshop, or I can handle a sales call, or I can do a CRM program. Those are hard skills, right? Soft skills are teamwork, leadership, charisma, collaboration, work ethic. Those are soft skills, right? And what this data tells us, that 77% of students think they're great with it. 43% of employers are not, that they're only 43% think that they are proficient. So 77% of students think they're proficient. 43% of employers feel they're proficient. So think about that for a second. What does this data tell us? Well, if something is really important to you, or you are excited about it, you are more likely to express regret if it isn't what you had hoped it would be. Okay, example. You're super excited to see the new Will Smith movie with 100 Will Smiths in it. Then you see it and it sucks. You are way more likely to express your anger and frustration with how bad it was because you had expectations. If you were dragged into it, you may come out saying, it wasn't too bad, or whatever. But since you had expectations, you're more likely to say you're disappointed. Well, look at this data. Only 43% of employers feel recent grads are proficient in their soft skills. That means they're disappointed because they have expectations. They want you to be really strong in the soft skills. The fact that only 43% of employers think aspiring employees show the right level of professionalism, work ethic, teamwork, collaboration, well, that means they're really disappointed because their expectations are high. So what do? Go back to basics. Professionalism comes down to a few noticeable things during an interview process because that's where they're judging you, right? Number one, the phone goes away as soon as you enter the building. No killing time on your phone. Like if you were like, okay, sit over here while your hiring manager Bob comes out and gets you in a little bit. Don't whip out your phone, okay? No killing time on your phone. Sit, wait, look around, see what's happening. Just resist pulling out your phone, because if the first impression this person has of you is they come out into the waiting area and they see you head down on your phone, that's a bad first impression. Okay, number two, their next thing they're going to notice is how you're dressed. This is so basic, but I cannot tell you how many people have shown up to interviews with me looking like a slob. Like, come on, people, get it together. Number three, make eye contact. This is a big one. This goes right to your soul. make eye contact with the person and you exude confidence and swag. If you look down, you look around, you look confused, bad start. Number 4, shake hands. I don't care if you're a germaphobe, get over it, okay? Shake hands, extend your hand, shake hand, make eye contact, and smile like you mean it. Look like you want to be there and are excited. You don't have to tone it down. Like a lot of people tell you, oh, tone it down and be as professional as you can. I am actually the exact opposite. Every time I've gone into an interview or I've done an interview and I've had somebody come in with like enthusiasm, like they were bounding with excitement to be there, not like bouncing off the walls, not like crazy, but like you shook their hand and they made eye contact and they had this smile and they just had this aura like, I am so excited to be in this building. I loved it. That's pretty simple stuff, but a lot of people mess it up. As for the other skills, the other kind of soft skills outside of professionalism, these again go back to real world experience. Again, you'll have projects in school and think that makes you collaborative, but it's not until you're interning for the Gwinnett Stripers and you have a doubleheader that night and you're working in media relations, but you get asked to wear the mascot suit before the game in the parking lot to welcome fans for the second game that you really learn what collaboration and teamwork means. I'm telling you, you're going to learn and you're going to have trial by fire when you're out there in an internship. If you go there, shown up, dressing the wrong way, your intern coordinator is going to say, go home. I've done it before. I've said, go home and take off your shorts, put on pants, take off your jersey, put on something more professional and get back here. And that's a bad impression, but you're going to learn from it. And if you're, again, expected to do some team projects and you don't do a good job, they're going to be hard on you in the real world, and you're going to learn from it. So again, these soft skills get refined when you're out there gaining experience. That is the most important thing you can do. So again, get out there, people. Remember, this assignment to do all these things I'm advising you to do isn't on anyone else to hold your hand through. This one is all you. You have to be self-motivated. It's not just getting up for your 8 o'clock class. That anybody can do that. That's a choice, right? You have to be self-motivated to take all these extra steps. You have to realize these are the things that will change your career arc and your satisfaction in life. I'm being serious. I am not being dramatic. When you do a lot of internships and you start to refine who you want to be and you start to get to know people and build relationships and you gain experience and you have things on your resume, you are more likely to get a better job that you like connected to more people. And that breeds happiness and success. So do not just blow this off as another guy ranting about how you have to, forego the party to go to do your internship. That's part of it. But really what I'm trying to tell you is these are the decisions that will make a difference in your overall happiness in life. And I mean it. So get at it. Go get that experience. All right. I think that covers it. It wasn't a fan question, so I can't really thank anybody for it, but I think it's a really important thing to say and share the data so that those of you that are really aggressively interning know you're doing it the right way. Okay. And those of you that aren't can get your butt in gear now. You have to put the effort in because no one else will do it for you. Okay. That's it for today. Like I said, Wednesday, Joan Lynch from Working Nation. Super cool interview. For now, I just want you to listen, subscribe, share, give us a good review, all those important things because it makes a difference and it gets us higher ranking in the podcast algorithm so that more people come on and see our content, and then I get to get better guests, and it's really super cool that way. So please, your support matters. But that's it for now. Time to get back to work.